This year, we celebrate 20 amazing years.
And we want to say thank you.
Because of you, we've become innovative, creative, and committed to providing the best customer service in the Bahamas.
Because of you,
we have given back to our community.
We are proud to serve our Bahamas with cable television, the nation's fastest broadband internet, and reliable phone service.
And that's all because of you.
Thank you for inspiring us,
motivating us,
and believing in us.
Thank you.
For 20 years!
The men believed to be responsible for the murder of a local elementary school teacher have been apprehended. Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller says all crime-fighting measures have failed. 2 judges retire and 1 more joins the bench at the Court of Appeal. Plus, hundreds line up at a local job fair looking for work. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and MV12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, 2 men have been taken into custody for the murder of Joyelle McIntosh, the 4th grade teacher at Queens College, who was shot and killed in her car at the intersection of Village Road and Parkgate Road on November 11th. And according to Police Commissioner Ellison Greenslade, the 2 men being questioned for that murder are also being held for the murder that occurred an hour later.
We have also taken into custody 2 persons, which we believe will now bring closure to the unfortunate murder of a teacher that you heard of just recently at Parkgate and Village Road. We wish that we could undo what has happened. Unfortunately, we can. But certainly we're going to do our best to ensure that the people that committed that murder, that egregious crime, are in the shortest possible time taken before the halls of justice, and hopefully will do no more harm to people in our country.
Police today carried out an operation in the Baintown area where officers were on the hunt for more suspects. Since his last press briefing on Wednesday, Greenslade said several men wanted for murder have turned themselves in.
I'm pleased to tell you that this young man that you published some time ago is now in custody. He surrendered to the police this morning. The name is visible to you on the wanted poster that you as a press corps carried, and he is now in custody. The second young man here, whose picture I'm showing you, likewise surrendered to the Central Detective Unit this afternoon, again because of the tremendous support from his family members and his friends who care sufficiently about him now that they perceive that they should encourage him to come in and do the right thing. That is, to confront the matters that have been laid against him and to go forward. This young man, whose picture I'm showing you, was also arrested last evening. He was not prepared to turn himself in, and so the selective enforcement team that I told you about as a public went after him. We targeted him. We found him without any stresses, and he is in custody being questioned for murder.
However, the commissioner said police are still on the hunt for several more of the country's most wanted.
His family members and friends should turn him in, the sooner the better. We are going to find him. It's just a matter of time. This young man must turn himself in. I'm going to ask his relatives and friends, people that care about him, to continue to encourage him to do what is right and proper. We are going to find him. We are going to find this person who is wanted. The poster is clearly illuminated for you to see and to record. This person is wanted by law enforcement. The sooner he is off the streets, the better.
Well, Tall Pines MP Leslie Miller charged today that all crime-fighting measures have failed, and that's reflected in the nation's rising murder count. The outspoken MP's opinion comes one day after the former Deputy Commissioner of Police, Quinn McCartney, responded to the commissioner's suggestion that police are powerless in their efforts to drive down the high rate of violent crime. Miller and McCartney appear to be on the same page that if elected officials won't do anything about it, then perhaps they should go. Kyle Joaquin reports.
So what is the deterrent then? Whatever you put in place isn't working, right? At least if someone take your life, his life is taken, he ain't gonna kill nobody else. You ain't gonna write with that one no more. That is the deterrent. That your crime, the penalty that is put in place fits what you have done.
Miller said whatever crime-fighting strategies are being used, they don't appear to be working. Miller said whatever crime-fighting strategies are being used, they don't appear to be working. When it comes to crime, he said no one, PLP nor F&M, should be playing the blame game. But Miller doesn't stand alone on that front. Former Deputy Commissioner of Police Quinn McCartney on Wednesday said those in authority must account for their own stewardship before pointing out faults and problems in other areas. McCartney said, if those who have been reposed with the authority to make a difference are not doing the job, then as in any corporate organization, give them the golden handshake and send them packing. The murder count compared to last year has increased by 31%. And to put things into perspective, at this point in 2011, when the previous murder record was made, there were 110 murders. So far this year, there have been 24 more. Prime Minister Perry Christie said earlier this week that the government will implement new crime-fighting measures within the coming weeks, some of which may impose on people's freedom of movement. Now, while he wasn't clear as to exactly what that meant, Commissioner Greenslade refused to explain as well.
You know and I know that most of the crime is done by less than 0.1% of the population. The police know who those persons are. Why are they still on the streets? Why are you going to impose your will upon me or restrict my movement when you know who is doing committing the crime? You can't go in Yellow Elder and put the people in Yellow Elder on lockdown for 6 guys on Block A who's causing all the problems. Do what you got to do with them. These fellas, they kill without mercy. They have no compassion. Therefore, they should not be living among civilized people. They should be dead. That's where they should be. They should be in a grave somewhere, an unmarked grave, because the ones who killed that poor lady and her son in the car, what compassion they showed for? There's no mercy.
On that front, McCartney was of the same view as Miller. He wrote, "It is not fair to the other 349,999 persons who call the Bahamas home to suffer because of one person or a group of persons who are clearly out of touch with reality and are more concerned about image rather than substance." While speaking to the media on Wednesday following the 134th murder for the year, the highest ever in the country, Greenslade once again called for legislative and policy changes to be made, seeing that repeat offenders charged with murder and attempted murder are released on bail to commit even more crime. Miller said he supports the commissioner on that.
You know, you have some of those fellas on bail for 3 and 4 murders. How could that be in the country? How could it be? And how could it be that we refuse to implement the death penalty? The United States of America, country that we emulate every single day with everything that we do. They carry out capital punishment every day in the United States of America. What is our problem?
Now, it is still unclear exactly what the government's new crime-fighting strategy will entail, but what we do know is that Prime Minister Perry Christie said it may impose on people's freedom of movement. He also said that an announcement should be coming within the next few weeks or so. Reporting from CDU for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin. 2 justices of the Court of Appeal are entering retirement. Abdullah Conte and Neville Adderley were honored during a special sitting of the Court of Appeal this morning, during which Court of Appeal President Anita Allen called the moment a watershed in the life of the court as the highly respected justices conclude their service.
Regrettably, they are leaving when they still have remarkable mental acuity, energy, and drive, and are still able to make valuable contributions to our jurisprudence. Mr. Justice Conte leaves us on the 11th of December, but Mr. Justice Adderley will be here for a further 3 months to enable him to complete judgments and to finish matters commenced before him.
Justice Adderley thanked several people, including Prime Minister Perry Christie and former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham, who extended the maximum age for justices just for him.
God willing, I'm about to begin what I call the consulting phase of my career. So while it is with mixed emotions that in a few months I will bid these hallowed halls adieu, I nevertheless look forward with excitement to the next phase.
Allow me therefore to say in conclusion that in the time I had, I always tried to be of service in the interest of justice. It is therefore time for me to say adieu, with my grateful thanks to you personally for the occasion and all those who have found time even in the midst of their busy schedule.
The President also welcomed the Court of Appeal's newest justice, Stella Crane Scott of Barbados.
Any apprehensions which I may have had as an outsider to the Bahamian judicial and legal system in those early days and weeks following my arrival were soon put to rest when individual counsel from both the inner and outer bar, sitting in court and no doubt struck by the unaccustomed spectacle of a bench which for the first time comprised 2 women, spontaneously sought the leave of the President to offer very warm words of welcome to me and to express the hope that the strong traditions of this court would be maintained.
I am fortified that the jurisprudence of not only the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but indeed the region and the world will be enriched by her appointment to this honorable court. I thank you on behalf of the Bahamas Bar Association, ma'am, for agreeing to serve our beloved Bahamaland by way of sitting on our Court of Appeal.
When MB12 returns, hundreds line up at a job fair at Workers' House, hoping to find employment. Stay with us.